Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and this is To Back or Not to Back, where we're going to go through a variety of crowdfunding projects, talking about the games, the campaigns, the stretch goals, the pledge levels, all of that and more. We have 13 projects to go through this week, and I won't be here next week, by the way, just as a little note. I'll be at UKGE, so next week there will not be a To Back or Not to Back. I will make sure to have something crowdfunding related for you, as I always do, but this is going to be your last To Back or Not to Back for at least 2 weeks, I guess. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive into all the projects. As usual, timestamps to everything down, links and timestamps to everything down below. But let's start off as we usually do with our Cult of the Now. Cult of the Now is a segment where I remind you that there are plenty of great games that are available to get your hands on now. And technically, Cult of the Now today is a pre-order, but a pre-order where you can go ahead and check out the ratings for Core of Discovery from Jay Cormier from Off the Page Games, a game set in the world of Manifest Destiny. Oh, and Sen Fung Lim as well. I should not forget the co-designer of the game. But Core of Discovery is a solo or cooperative deduction game as you try to go through a variety of scenarios, puzzling out based on certain rules in the scenarios in order to accomplish your goals. Very challenging game. $30 for this is a steal of a price point for the amount of game you're going to get in here. This is obviously the retail version, the basic, no expansions, nothing extra going on here. So if you're comparing it to your crowdfunding price, it is very much a different beast. But that said, it is still a whole lot of gameplay for a very reasonable price point if you pre-order it over on Game Nerds. And with that, let's go ahead and dive into our 13 crowdfunding campaigns, starting off with our first one, which is going to be our board game adjacent. And this is Surprising Puzzles by Puzzslide, Series 2. If you're familiar with the Visuals line of puzzles, this is a very similar concept. It's a, cartoony puzzles with a degree of puzzles going on with inside the puzzle. So, you start putting together the puzzle, different things are going on than what's actually on the art. You're trying to kind of solve these little mini mysteries or quirks as you go through them. This is a series of 3 puzzles. You can check out the last series of 3 as well. You can get either the new puzzles or the old puzzles or both of the puzzles if you want to get, well, actually, I don't even know if you could get the old ones. You get the new ones and you can get all of them. I don't know if you can get just the old ones. But anyways, that's going to be our Puzzslide, our series of puzzly puzzles. From there, we're going to go and dive into our board game campaigns. And the first one I am going to rag on a little bit, but that is Battle Monsters Godzilla X Kong. 1,700 backers, $473,000 raised, 8 days to go. I am the target audience for this game, and oh my gosh, I have sticker shock. So here's the deal. When it comes to campaigns, I try to keep it a little bit more just informational. Here's what's going on, here's what's happening. When I talk about whether it's worth getting in certain aspects, I talk about that based on historical data. I usually don't insert a ton of personal opinion into what's going on in the campaign pages, but sometimes something inspires me to do so, and sometimes that thing can be price point because, oh my gosh, Battle Monsters Godzilla X Kong is expensive, or at least perceptionally. Perceptionally to me, as a potential backer, it is an expensive game, and I am the target audience for this a million times over. I've just been going through the entire MonsterVerse series of movies with my kids. My son loves King Ghidorah. I totally want this game from all of those stances. So I was all prepared to go ahead and back this, and I did see chatter on various Facebook groups about how expensive it was, and I was like, oh, people are always complaining. It's not that crazy. It is that crazy. At least, again, perceptionally here, I back a lot of campaigns. It takes a lot for me to feel a degree of, not that it's not worth it to me, but true sticker shock over the price of a game, and this is one of those times, because $380 for the all-in here, and by the way, this is a 2-player head-to-head, there's a team mode, there's also solo mode, but effectively it's a 2-player head-to-head game where you take control of various monsters, as well as all these various troops as well, and then try to, activate the monster special abilities, get to the special powers, all of that, just taking control of you, not taking control, taking down each, your opponent. There's a team mode, there's a solo mode, and then there's a whole lot of stuff for it, including some semi-crowdfunding exclusive stuff, but the Mothra over here, Mothra is going to be something that's available only in crowdfunding, if not mistaken. But to that end, let's go to the pledge levels over here. Pledge levels are going to give you $5 to access the Pledge Manager, $125 on $150 MSRP for a core box, your choice of which core box you want. Do you want Robo Godzilla versus Mecha Kong, or do you want King Ghidorah versus Godzilla? What do you want as far as those boxes? Or we have the big bundle giving you the Battleverse, giving you Mothra as well for $300, or for $380 you get all the monsters and their upgrade packs. And again, $380, I wish I could say I had sticker shock from that price alone, but I don't. Crowdfunding has gotten expensive, and sometimes you have these $500 all-in pledges. But when you have these $500 all-in pledges, I definitely look at what you are actually getting, and what you're getting on this pledge, $380, I feel like you are paying for the license. I don't... It feels really expensive for what you're getting. And again, there's a lot of commentary here because I am very much the target audience. I was somebody who was absolutely going to go and back this. and then saw the price and was like, no, just no, no, no. I will 3D print some sort of gigantic miniature instead and keep my kids happy that way. They don't need $380 for 5 big miniatures and a bunch of components. And honestly, outside of the big miniatures, I don't think the components look that great either. So forgive me for ragging on this one. I just, as a target audience, and anyways. So that's basically Battle Monsters. That's Battle Monsters Referral. Shipping over is going to run you $30 for continental US. Go ahead and check out your additional region on top of that. But that's basically what's going on. And tariffs, I believe they said you will not be paying anything extra for tariffs. So there is that. They are giving you a tariff guarantee. You will never ask for additional funds, regardless of changes to tariff, shipping charges, or any of the other vagaries making the game. And I'm like, at that price point, I so hope not. Apologies to what's it called? Apologies to Restoration Games. I'm not specifically here to rag on your games. I know that I didn't love Thunder Road Vendetta as much as many others did. I still think it's a fine game. I just didn't love it as much. But like, I'm not intentionally trying to rag on your stuff. I don't know if I found the Restoration games that have really knocked it out of the park for me, either gameplay-wise or sometimes in the case of crowdfunding, the price points for it. But with that, we're going to move to our next one, Trismegistus. Trismegistus, which I'm pretty sure I butcher the pronunciation every time. Trismegistus from Board and Dice, 948 backers, $91,000 raised, 91,000 euro raised, 10 days left to go. This is an entirely new version of Trismegistus with streamlined rules, more accessible gameplay, a completely redone graphic design, as well as an expansion and a roll and write as well. In this dice drafting game, where you're going to be drafting dice for their values as well as for resources, and trying to ultimately uncover the secret, the alchemical secret or whatnot, as you go through this Euro game. This is a Daniel Tassini T-Series game that was not as well received as some of his others, and to a certain extent, Board and Dice feels that was a little bit of a mental overload on this one compared to others, or not necessarily as streamlined to dive into the game and play compared to others, which is why they are redoing this both entirely graphic rehaul, as well as making the game more streamlined to try to introduce it to more people as a game that they don't feel got the same light of day as some of the other T-Series games. But along with the game, because there is going to be the game itself, then there's going to be a bunch of other things as well. So you have the core box, you have the additional, the upgrade pack. This is going to be in both pledge levels. This is the deluxeification that's going to be different than what you would get in the retail version of the game, giving you upgraded components, upgraded dice, tiles, all of that for the game. Then we have the core box. Then we also have for €89 instead of €67. So €67 gets the core box plus the upgrade kit. And for additional €22, you're also getting the Familiars expansion as well as the new edition Roll and Write. And this is not the same as the original Roll and Write. So if you there was an original Roll and Write for the original game, this is a very different Roll and Write game. So not the same thing there. In case you didn't like that one. Past that, there's also a dice tower, some sleeves, a folded space insert, all these various extras that you can go ahead and get your hands on if you are interested in any of that. And deluxe upgrade kit, where is the deluxe upgrade kit? Here we go, upgrade pack. So it's going to be giving you all these tokens, the tiles, the dice, all that stuff upgraded. But then there's also stretch goals as well, giving you even more cool things like these tokens over here, these tokens over here, lots of just cool tokens being added to the game throughout these stretch goals. As far as shipping is going to run you 23 euro to the US. This is being shipped from Poland over here. They have a whole little statement about tariffs over here, about how depending on how things are is going to depend on where they ship from or how they handle it. But this is currently the game plan, shipping it from Poland for 23 euro on top of your existing pledge. And that is basically what you get for Trismegistus over here. Then we have Night Moves, solo game of the month from Gabe Barrett. Night Moves is going to be their newest game, $28,000 raised, 959 backers. And this is a puzzly game of going through, I think it's like roughly 40 puzzles. We're going to have a little card, a little setup over here. You put your little knight miniature onto the card. There is going to be a little knight miniature. And then you're going to be progressing your character, adding more abilities as you try to solve this little puzzle, moving things around, moving your knight around, gathering treasure, relocating stuff. It's a little basically a tableau building, upgrading your puzzles as you try to deal with kind of just this little situations, little stages you're dealing with. And overall, going through this entire game, if you watch the little gameplay overview of how you're trying to push these crates around, the entire time I was like, this feels like, oh my gosh, what was the game called again? What was the game called? Now I'm losing track of the game. There's a game designed by, see, I was going to say this the wrong other way, but I forgot how to say this. So this is designed by, my gosh, I blanked on this completely. My point I was going to try to make is designed by Joe Slack, who designed another game. But the whole time I was like, this feels similar to the Relics of Rajavahara. This entire game felt similar to Relics of Rajavahara. And then I saw the designer was Joe Slack, and I was like, oh, That's the designer of Relics of Rajavihara, which makes sense as to why it would feel similar to Relics of Rajavihara. But that said, it's a $25 game over here. It's also, you can get the Hunted Kobayashi Tower as the special add-on for the month. That's an additional $25 there. And then past that, it's going to be $5 shipping to the US and $6 shipping to Canada, UK, etc. That's going to be very standard for anything from Gay Barrett from the Solo Games of the Month Club. But basically, it's a little miniature Relics of Rajavihara with a little less going on in the components area, but a little bit more going on as far as what you're actually doing in the game. It's more than just pushing around some cubes. Not that Relics of Rajavihara is just pushing around some cubes. It escalates as you go through it, adding more abilities, more things. But this one seems to be doing even more than that for this little solo game from the Solo Game of the Month Club. Then from there we have Final Titan from Nerd Lab Games. 1,494 backers, 154,000 euro raised, 12 days left to go. Final Titan is a King of the Hill style, semi-King of Tokyo, semi-just going ahead and drafting your various heroes, combining them for various abilities and upgrades, and then rolling dice until you eventually are the last person standing at the end of all the various encounters. There's a lot of heroes to go through over here, 135 unique champions if you go all in. I think it's 106 champions if I'm not mistaken for the base pledge, so basically you're getting an extra like 19 champions for the additional 2 expansion packs. You don't need that extra variety, but it certainly doesn't hurt. But then you have a variety of upgrade cards, and then you also have the deluxe edition of the game. But the basic idea of this is you are going to be drafting a hero. You draft a hero, and then from there, well, set of heroes. You draft a bunch of heroes, and then you're going head-to-head, facing off one hero at a time against other heroes while utilizing your upgrade cards, while trying to win more upgrade cards, and while trying to ultimately be the last person standing at the end of every single fight. Each hero is going to have their own abilities. You're going to have their upgrade cards going to be added to modify things as far as how the ability is going to play out, and basically it's just it's a good fun game. It's a beer and pretzels, rolling dice, but with a lot of strategy as far as how you actually build out your team, as well as when you go into the arena. There's a little mechanic in the game where you can choose to kind of choose to not fight a champion, but then you have to give up an upgrade card, and the person who finally does go in and fight will gather all of those upgrade cards, kind of making a pool that makes it more and more appealing to go in and fight. The Ultimate Edition of the game is going to be €89. That's going to give you the dice tray, the expansion packs, basically the Kickstarter, the Game Found exclusive pack over here, the promo pack, the Mindbug expansion, the Godspark expansion, and the base game deluxe edition, as well as the dice tray. We'll show you the deluxe edition shortly, but that's €89. The Challenger edition is going to be €39 for just the base game and the Game Found promo pack, and the Titan edition gives you the expansions, the promo pack, but not the deluxe edition, and that's going to be €64. As far as what the deluxe edition does, it's going to be a bigger box, it's going to be upgraded to components as well. So if we scroll down, this kind of shows it briefly, but I think there's a better area to show it if I'm not mistaken. If we go, here we go, cover all the various upgrades you get. The upgraded components. So you get these kind of spot UV cards with a little kind of glint to the cards as you go through it, as well as the tokens, premium gloss finish, perfect for trays, all content in one box, neoprene dice tray, and dice for every player. And that's going to be what you get for the upgrade deluxe kit of the game, deluxeified version of the game. Shipping is going to run you €7 to Germany, €18 to US, and then check out your own local region there. That's basically what you get for Final Titan. So overall, a dice drafting game, a few different pledge levels, but getting a minimum of 106. Even at the basic challenge edition, you're getting 106 unique and oversized champion cards, and if you go on the ultimate, you're getting the upgraded components, but you're getting as many as 135 plus oversized champion cards for the game. And moving on from there, we have Coexist by Matago. Coexist, 491 backers, €16,000 raised. Coexist is a animal drafting game, which you're going to be drafting these various animals, trying to satiate their needs, and then getting points for doing so, all while you try to manage your little, not really zoo, but your habitats, manage your little, your NGO, your non-profit organization in the game. The basic idea is you're going to be taking turns to either draft things or to alternatively to manage your own little your restoration manage or something. There's a term for it. You could do that. You manage your conservation center to assign and moving caretakers, fulfilling the needs of the animals, and then releasing them into the wild, or place them into a shared reserve. But you also will possibly lose a reputation if you aren't able to properly meet their needs themselves. There's also an expansion for the game. So if we go to the pledge levels, where's the rewards? There's the basic pledge for €30 over here. No, that's not true. The caretaker pledge is going to be €20, and then this pledge for €30 is giving you the 5th player expansion, which I believe is not going to retail. So fairly cheap as far as the game goes, €20 for the game, or €30, although you do have to factor in shipping, because shipping is also going to run you an additional €20 on top of that. So your €20 game goes to a €40 game, and your €30 game goes to a €50 game. That's a big chunk of your cost going directly towards shipping. But outside of that, the art looks beautiful. Speaking of the art, by the way, they have, where was it? There was a thing over here. Who we are, maybe this. They had a thing about about the street artists. Here we go. All the artwork is created by Amo, a renowned street artist from Bordeaux known for his distinctive style. So this is like all stuff from a street artist being incorporating his work into board games, which I think is kind of cool overall. But that is Coexist from Matago. Then we have Principes, I think it's pronounced Principes, I could be mistaken, from Leo Solove. He's the designer and illustrator of Brett Walda that Phalanx published, and this time around he's coming back with his own game that he once again is designing, illustrating, but this time he's also publishing it. So first time designer with 400,000 euro raised, 2,500 backers, 16 days left to go, and this is kind of like a Game of Thrones sort of, and not really Game of Thrones, but it's got some of the gameplay of Game of Thrones in this area control game with the various factions, with the hidden tokens. You're going to have hidden commands in the game, and you're going to be utilizing those while trying to manage the area control in this strategic area control game. There's going to be the base game, which as you rise in the various faction tracks, it's going to be the base game over here. Rating so far at 8.9. That's interesting. I thought it said 9. Was it updated? I thought I saw a 9 here when I was last on this page, which means it may have been updated or I forgot, or I'm confusing with another page. All things are possible. Anyways, that's as far as what the basic game over here is, although there's also going to be expansions. There are already expansions. Let's see if we can go down to the expansions. Let's see. Expansions, why back now? One-man project. No, here we go. So we have the Explorator expansion, which is giving you these treasure tokens, the treasure cards, as well as these adventure cards over here. So all these cards with these multiple choices on them, that you can make a choice. Do you help Henry find Acorn, or you don't believe a single word and order Henry to be captured? So you have a kind of a choose your own adventure, not really choose an adventure, event cards with choices on them, as well as a whole book of adventures through it. That's one of the expansions, and then you have the upgraded components expansion over here. This is giving you various figures that are going to replace the building tokens from the base game as well. Then we have for the pledges, we have 75 euro for the base pledge of the game. That's going to give you the metal coins as well, which I believe are on all pledge levels. For 95 euro, you get the Explorator expansion and the metal coins for 95. And then for the King's Pledge, for 210, you're getting a whole lot of extra things. You're not just getting that extra, the wooden buildings, you're also getting dice trays, play mats, card holders, enamel pins, card sleeves. Basically meaning if you're not interested in some of those things, you may want to consider individually breaking out your expansion. Like for example, if you just want those buildings, it's going to be 95 euro, and then you can just get the buildings over here with the 35 euro on top of that added. So you do want to factor in what you actually care about before you go all in there and get a bunch of things. Like for me, enamel pins don't really care at all. If I'm lucky, I keep them. If unlucky, they eventually show up in the garbage because I forgot to give them away to someone at some point. So like you want to pick and choose what actually matters to you before you go completely all in over there. Shipping is going to be, if I can find shipping was somewhere over here. Let's see, scroll down on this because it was not on the sidebar, but it was on the campaign page, if I recall correctly. Let's scroll back up a bit more. I do recall seeing this. Here we go. So shipping. Shipping is going to run you between 35 euro, well, 25 euro for this playmat alone, and 35 to 65 euro for the game if you are a US backer, which is not a small amount. That's the price of a full game and then some. So you do want to factor that into the price point before you hit that back now button. From there we have Sauros. Sauros is going to be a tile-laying, trick-taking game. 617 backers, $35,000 raised, 18 days to go. This is a game which you're going to have these various dinosaur tiles, and you're going to have a reveal tile, which will be the kind of trump suit, so to speak, but you are trying to place your tiles in order to, well, kind of clear. You're trying to place tiles onto your personal board, and you're trying to do that based on certain patterns, which means you're trying to win the tricks, but you want to be mindful of when you can actually win the trick, because you're going to either get 1, 2, or no tiles, depending on how you fared in an individual trick. And so there's a bit of an aspect of choosing your battles, picking your battles, which there are in any trick-taking game, but this one in particular, as you try to lay things out onto your board. It reminded me a little of Cat in the Box, as far as you're not just trying to win the trick, you're also trying to be mindful of which tricks you win, and how it enables you to score as many points as possible across the course of the round. This is coming to you from Tangerine Games. There's a few different pledge levels over here. There's a $40. In fact, actually, just go ahead and show you the pledge levels over here. So we have $40 for the base pledge with 42 dinosaur tiles, 5 playmats. Yes, those playmats are included in the base pledge. Victory point tokens, module die, rulebook, all of that. The deluxe pledge for $55 is going to be giving you a bunch of gameplay extras. So we have the asteroid and the Quetzalcoatlus over here. We have the, I can't say any of these words. All these words. Trying to introduce people to these expansions is going to be a mouthful. We have a 6-player playmat over here. The all-in pledge is giving you all the things above, but it's also giving you this midnight dice, which are not just a component that's cool. It's going to give you a gameplay aspect where once per round you can roll those dice, adding them to your tile to improve the strength of the tile. So basically a whole lot of little mini modules between the various upgraded options, but past that, it's basically a tile-laying, trick-taking game. Shipping is going to run you $16 to the US, Plus, and that's basically what we got for Sauros from Tangerine Games. Looks cute. It looks cute. I like the idea of, I like trick-taking games in general. I like trying to balance where the tiles go on my personal board to try to be mindful of what I need to win in order to maximize my score. So all in all, it looks like a cute little fun puzzly game. Then we have Maglev Metro or Maglev Maps Expansions Volumes 1 and 2. 736 backers, $79,000 raised. Maglev Maps is basically the second edition of the maps for Maglev Metro, which there was Maglev Metro, then there was Maglev Metro Maps, then there's Maglev Metro Maps Volume 2, which is this campaign. And yes, you can get any configurations of various things as you go through it. Maglev Metro at its core is a pick up and deliver train game. You have this Metro, this Maglev, the magnetic levitation train that's moving around these tracks, and players are going to be placing down acrylic tiles onto the board in order to create these various routes, these track overlays, and you're trying to basically pick up these robots and drop them off where they want to go. The tricky part about this game, and why I like it, is it's got tableau building. So it's not just about the robots and the pick up and deliver, it's as you gather the various robots and drop them off, you're basically both improving your score, but you're also improving your abilities in the game, allowing you to do more. So how and where you invest these little robots into your infrastructure is a big part of the game. The base game comes with 2 basic maps, but then after that there was Map Pack 1 giving you 6 new maps, and now we have Map Pack 2 giving you 6 new maps, so a whole lot of variety to the experience. And also, if you are getting this on Kickstarter, you get these upgraded silk-screened passengers, which I believe this is going to be the Kickstarter exclusive item, or Kickstarter limited item. Basically, this is the thing that's going to be not in the retail edition, but you can get it at crowdfunding, conventions, all that stuff. That's going to be these new silk-screen meeples. So basically, it's more massive Maglev Metro. If you don't like Maglev Metro, sure, you can jump on this for the first time, and if you do love Maglev Metro, you probably already know whether you want those 6 maps or not. As far as shipping, well, actually, let's do pledge levels. Pledge levels for the game are going to be at the hand car pledge level, which is $40, giving you any combination of these 2 maps. So Chicago plus Barcelona, Nanobots plus Nanotech, Ghost Train plus Outback. You basically choose 2 maps and for $40. Then for $90, you get the little meeples, but you also get all 3 maps. So instead of $120 if you bought them all individually or in sets of 2, you get $90, giving you all 6 new maps as well as those meeples over there. The diesel pledge level is going to give you the both map packs for $140. The electric pledge level gives you the map pack, gives you, wait one second, what did I do here? No, we get the $140 gives you Maglev Metro base game plus the map pack 2 for $40, for $140, and then for $180 you get both map packs, and then for $230 you get the base game plus both map packs, basically giving you everything for the game experience. Shipping is going to run you $16 for the hand car, up to $32 for getting basically everything, the all-in on the campaign. From there we have Robo Rescue Origins, and this one is definitely the cheapest campaign you're going to see today. 1,624 backers, $7,500 raised, 23 days to go. This is kind of a quick-paced, grab robots and place them into various regions in order to score as many points, and then choose your higher scoring regions in the game. It's very straightforward as far as you basically have your, let me see if I can find the how to play area here. So you have a little set up your lab, gather some cards over there, collect the parts, place them into various parts of your workshop, build your robots, and then score your lab based on the 2 best scoring regions of your lab. So it's a very quick-paced, kind of solo game, although it's multiplayer solitaire in the sense that if you have multiple decks, you have multiple people trying to play and score, trying to get the player to get the best score. Although the price point of this one, the price point is going to surprise you if you haven't seen this campaign, because the price point is $1. $1 to get your hands on 1 deck, or it's actually technically a single deck is free with that dollar being credited towards shipping. So this dollar pledge over here, because they can't do a $0 pledge, is going to be credited towards your shipping price. Then for 2 decks, it's $1. The first deck's free, the second one is $1. For 3 decks, it's $2. For 4 decks, it's $3. Basically, they're giving you various options. First deck is free, every additional deck is $1. But there is a catch, there's always a catch. Don't get me wrong, it's still very reasonably priced, but it's not free. Shipping is taken into account, and I'll explain a bit more soon, but the shipping rates over here, if you click on the little button, you'll see shipping rates, and it tells you that that first free deck is $9. And the 2 decks is $11, then $13, then $15, so even though you're paying $3, you're paying $18 to get your hands on 4 decks. Is that worth it? Very possibly, but it's certainly not the $3. Shipping is taken into account. I don't know if they're making any money on shipping, or if they're hoping to cover their costs. I don't know fully, but they're certainly trying to not lose money at the very least, and so shipping is going to be a big part of your cost. As far as why are they doing this, well, they have an upcoming game coming, and this is kind of their getting into everyone's hands, these little cheap micro games, while also putting on people's radar that they have, what was it? They have Robo Rescue Origins, I think. No, this one's Robo Rescue Origins. They have another game coming soon. I don't remember what it's called, but it is coming soon. Robo Rescue, I don't know. there's another game. There's another game coming, and this is basically introducing you to the team, to the company, so you can go ahead and get a sense of what they have to offer. And beyond the radar, this is something that's worked well for some companies in the past. There was that other game, Clash of Decks. Clash of Decks took a similar approach. It's been done before. It's a very effective way of getting your product in the hands of a lot of people, and possibly building up an audience, as well as a sense of, to a certain extent, a sense of gratitude and, okay, I'll try your next thing as well. So kind of this entire campaign is a marketing campaign for the next campaign, but may also give you a good game along the way. Then we have Penguins Can't Fly, a game of falling penguins, 289 backers, 23 days to go, $13,000 raised. Falling Penguins, or Penguins Can't Fly, is a game of falling penguins, because penguins cannot fly, as the game suggests. You're going to start your way at the top of a track, you're going to be given your deck of cards, you're going to have all these little cards along the way, where if players line up, you're going to be flipping them, and they'll give you various, boons or things that are not boons, to how well you're flying. Outside of that, this is one of those games where you just play cards. Keep falling, move 2 spaces, bounce back, shuffle the wild winds, falling descent. You can be playing various cards with cute artwork, anything from, apparently gas, to a balloon strapped around your leg, to a whale bouncing back up in the air, to the slip and slide. You have all kinds of different little fun cards with fun art, modifying the way the penguins are or are not falling. I mean, they all are eventually falling, but how fast they fall, because they can't fly. They can't fly. It's in the name of the game. How fast they fall and how well you do comes down to the cards you play. So it's one of those kind of play fun cards to help yourself and mess with your opponents. Not a kind of game that I tend to appreciate that much, but I will say this one gets massive bonus points for the theme, the art, and the cuteness of it. From all these types of games that do this, I am kind of inclined to be willing to play this one just because of how cute it is. But outside of that, the pledge levels for the game is going to be $17 for the Penguins Can't Fly. We have $17 for the Jurassic Flap. That's going to be a kind of similar system, but with Jurassic stuff. So we have a different kind of game where, let's see if we can find it over here. They didn't use the sidebar over here, so we have to scroll slowly. It's somewhere here. There's another game, Jurassic Flap. And then we have the Penguins Can't Fly the card game for $19, and then the Penguins Can't Fly the Jurassic Flap for $19. These are the non-early bird options. And then the expansion pack over there for $24. That's basically what we got over here as far as the various pledge levels. So all in all, it's a very light card game, but I will say it is charming as far as the art goes, so bonus points for that. Then we have One Card Maze Season 3, 488 backers, 24 days to go, $25,000 raised. One Card Maze is, well, the third time they're doing this on crowdfunding, hence the whole Season 3, but it's basically a one card in your hand as you try to basically flip it, rotate, and adjust it to accomplish your maze. Because you're going to have a single card in the game. I mean, there's a whole lot more complications to it, but the core premise is you have a single card, you're trying to track where you're trying to go, and very often you'll have to flip to the other side. So now you flip, and then you have to come back around. So it kind of tries to make a clever little maze system, giving you a bunch of cards that have these little mazes on them. It's a little solo puzzle to keep you occupied and busy. Think of it as like a button shy game, but you have 18 little separate mazes in your pocket instead of a singular game. That's the concept of the one card maze. But as he's continued to expand, he's done more and more things, from various sets of mazes to the Hand of Cthulhu to all these different things that take that core concept but then give you a whole lot more going on, because, well, that's how you keep a game like this interesting. It can't all be just some small variation of the same maze. You actually have to have something that keeps these continuously interesting to keep people coming back. But as far as the pledge levels go, we have for the print and play files, you have $9. For the Season 3 wallets and then print and play for the various content is $37. And if you want everything for the game entirely, it's going to run you $81, which is not a small amount of money for this micro game, but there is a whole lot of content for the game if you are going that route. As far as shipping on you around $11 for the US, and that will be the one card maze. Which brings us to our last campaign of the day, Micro Pirates from Thistroy Games. €32,000 raise, 739 backers, 27 days left to go, and I will admit this kind of just seems like Tiny Epic Pirates. It's obviously not. It's a different game, but you have a micro game, you have Micro Pirates, you have the seas over here, you have all the kind of core ingredients that make these games very similar, but they are different. Thistroy Games does have a very similar model to Tiny Epic, that they have these small box game experiences. They've overall been fairly well received as far as the games go. They've had Tiny Epic Cosmos, they have Micro Cosmos, Micro Architects, Micro Moonshine, Micro Pirates, and Micro City. So this is their 5th game in their line of games, but basically it's going to be a similar kind of vibe. You're exploring the high seas, you're trying to do all the high seas things that you do. I did look up on the campaign page as far as what you actually do. You have an open world. I just forgot all the stuff. You have an open world over here. You have beautiful wooden components. Solo mode. The solo mode is against the ghost ship and all that. You're going to be sailing around over here, getting your crew and upgrades, going on quests, getting your various resources, and battling other pirates while exploring and exporting goods for fame and coin. That was the whole section I was looking for. Anyways, that's basically as far as Micro Pirates. The pledge level for the game is going to be 25 euro for the base game, and 45 euro if you want that playmat, and 55 euro if you also want that dice tray on top of everything. And the shipping is going to run you, for the US over here, is going to be 12 euro on top of all those price points. And that is everything as far as the campaigns, which brings us to our picks of the week. Picks of the week, as usual, are going to be the game that I think that the game that I'm most personally interested in, as well as the game that I think is most likely to hold its value. For the value pick of the week, I'm going to go with Principes over here. I'm not 100% sure. I did debate Battle Monsters. Like, it's hard to say because, you know, in general, Thunder of Vendetta has done incredibly well for them, but this is the biggest amount of pushback I've ever seen for one of the games, which has me a little more skeptical on this one. I am going with Principes on this one, but, you know, who's to really say? This is a educated guess, not a guarantee, but I think this is the one that's most likely to hold its value overall, or most likely to be the best place to get it if you are interested in this game. As far as my personal interest pick of the week, that's an easy one. That's going to be Final Titan, because this game I thought was an absolute blast to play. Really enjoyed this one. I still have my copy on my shelf over there. Like, it hasn't moved to my prototype stuff because it's still one that I enjoy pulling out and playing. It's just an easy, fun little beer and pretzels party game to enjoy. And that is everything, which brings us to the campaigns for next week. We have a lot of big box campaigns next week. In fact, I'm going to show you 3 this week instead of the usual 2, but honestly, I want to show you even more. We have Dawn of Madness launching tomorrow with 9,000 people following the campaign. We have Inish Big Box with 11,000 people following the campaign. We have Clash of Clans with another 9,000 people following this campaign over here. Very intrigued by all of them. I'll talk more about Clash of Clans. I've had a chance to actually play this online, so I played on TTS, and I'll have thoughts. I'll talk about it more later. We have Inish, Dawn of Madness, and Clash of Clans, all coming to crowdfunding, basically, I think tomorrow for all of them. Anyways, that is basically everything. Until next time, I'm Alex Maglev from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one. Sometimes I wonder if I'm being too hard on myself. And then I remember, I deserve it.